Hey y'all, this is Astro Bikers where we are speaking for the change makers. I'm MYCAH.
Hi, I'm Portia, and today we are talking about the pressures of having a purpose.
Man, someone say deep dive because this was a deep dive for me. And this has been like over the course, this topic has been over the course of years. But before we do all that, Portia, please bring us into our breathing. My bad.
Yes, let's get connected. Let's get connected. Let's get present. Soul Group, I offer you this opportunity to breathe with us. Get ready for this conversation, to arrive in the present moment. Take a deep breath in. We're going to hold it at the top and exhale. One more deep breath in. Hold it. Exhale. Take one last deep breath. Deep, deep, deep. Hold it, and exhale. Pro tip, if you exhale with a sigh, your body really relaxes in. So if you can have an audible exhale, it definitely adds to the experience.
So group, if y'all are not doing these breathings, I advise y'all do these breathings with us because I'm telling you, it'll get you prepared for whatever we're about to go into. I'm telling you, it really gets you centered.
Yes.
I'm just saying. Okay, so
let's jump in.
What are your bads for this week?
It's your bads for this week.
Oh, okay. So I've been watching the show 20s on BET. Shout out to BET. Shout out to 20s. Shout out to an actual lesbian that is what would you call it? A soft stud.
Masculine presenting.
Huh?
I would call it a masculine. This is the way that they're talking about it is the first ever masculine presenting woman in a lead role.
Yes. Thank you for that clarification.
I literally just saw this morning.
Oh, okay. So yeah, like I'm here for it. And I love it. Like I literally love the lead. She reminds me of like, I could see myself, which is nice, which is just nice to see. So I'm here for the show. And as I'm watching the show, I just feel like things don't merge. So here's my bad. Like, you've seen the show, sis, right? Okay. So like, it's like, okay, let's take the boss, for example. He all of a sudden has a crush on old girl. Why? The white dude, the white boss. When? When did
this Wait, now you're giving spoilers. You got to give a spoiler alert. You out here.
Spoiler alert, okay? Spoiler alert. Like, come on. Man, how did it can you explain how this like was created? And I guess for me, it's a bit upsetting because it's just like, yes, we finally have a good show, good quality. It's on BET. It's representing, real lesbians in my world. And it's just like, damn, we're going to drop the ball like that. We ain't going to be able to merge it together. It's only like 25 minutes, not even 30 minutes. It's just kind of like, damn, you know what I mean? I just wanted it to be, not perfect, but perfect. Yeah. So, but other than that, I really, really enjoy the show. I get a good laugh. It was inspiration to even cut my hair, like, because I was like, look, it's happening. Like, I'm cutting it. And then, like, the show literally made me want to cut my hair again and really gave me, like, the to be like, all right, we're done. We're cutting it. It's over. It's happening. And it's going to happen today. So, yeah, shout out to 20s. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. My bad for the spoiler alert.
I'm not gonna lie, I haven't gotten that far. I have to catch up. So I was like, wait, what?
Damn, my bad.
Right. I don't even know who you're talking about.
It's just a rush.
I literally don't even know who you're talking about, so I know I didn't get that far yet.
Okay, you'll be fine.
Yes. My bads for the week, I would say, I guess my bads for like maybe the month. I'm finally coming to terms with that my move is going to be delayed. Dun, dun, dun.
Damn, that's definitely a hit. Is it because of the quarantine?
Yeah.
Damn it.
Sister Rhoda, here fucking up shit again.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that, sis.
I know, but
I was
right.
looking forward to like the little caravan. We still gonna do it though. We still gonna do it, but I was looking forward to that. Yeah.
Divine timing. It's gonna happen when it's supposed to happen, and I'm letting it go.
Right.
What were your goods for the week?
Goods. Hold on, I gotta get my notes. What was my goods? Oh, my little baby CJ. It's my plant. It's right over there. It grew a new stem. It was so cute. And like, I don't know. It's my first plant ever. Like one that I actually bought. It was not gift to me, and one that I'm like really taking care of it. I'm watering it. I'm paying attention to it. I'm making sure that I'm turning it so that it doesn't lean to the left or the right. Wait, that's my right. To the right. So like, yeah, and it just feels good. And it makes me want to go buy another one. And I think I'm going to do that sometime this week. Absolutely.
Well, I guess I can call my good a new show. Because I can definitely dedicate some love to a new show.
What show?
Salem Motherland. Oh, so good.
On what network?
Okay, so my good for the week is my new love for this show called Motherland Salem. It is so good. I don't know what. Okay, wait, I'm lying. Freeform, I think, is the network because it's like FF.
Love Freeform. They put quality.
Okay, it's my first time ever. I didn't know anything about them until this show. It's super, super good, and it basically, the premise is if the Salem witch trials didn't go the way that they expected it to go, and if the witches were allowed to maintain, and they are now the military.
I love that.
They are now the military. It's all women. Oh, it's so, and the way that the interesting takes that they use little bits of spirituality in, that I'm such a geek for that stuff. They really sprinkled it into it. Feels really authentic. And yes, I could go on for days about my love of this new show. It's my good for sure.
Dope. I'm definitely going to check that out for sure.
Awesome.
I'm here for like supernatural type of stuff, witchy stuff. I'm here. Okay.
Yes.
Ooh. I think that's it. That's all for our week with the goods and bads. Let's hop into the topic.
Well, this was your topic. You picked this one, so tell me a little bit about the backstory.
So I was reading this book. It's called 30 Days, Change Your Habits. And I don't know the author, but I will put it below. My challenge is to finish a book every two for like one book. Let me word this correctly. I have 2 weeks to finish one book, and we go to the next book. It's not going to happen in a week because usually I like read one chapter and then I close it in the morning. So yeah, it's not happening. Anyways, anywho, so I'm reading this book and it's talking about pressure and how it's unnecessary to have it because it's going to make you feel like a failure. And girl, a failure is like, first of all, it's one of my sticky notes that is on my affirmation list. And it says that failure equals a learning experience. And so I have to rewire my brain on failure. And so first I have to tackle, well, where does these feelings come from? And it had to do with pressure. So that's where this whole topic came from, because I feel like we do put a lot of pressure around purpose and having to have like some amazing thing that you're doing in your life that like, you know, touches your soul to the fucking core and all of these amazing things. But there are times where you actually are going through a phase where you're not doing those things. And should you not feel complete? You know what I mean? Should you not feel okay? And I think that pressure will not allow you to really enjoy those times, because how many years do you go through? How many months do you go through? Days do you go through? You know, is it going to be miserable because you're not doing what you're set out to do, what your purpose is? You know, so I guess that's where this topic started for me.
I can get that. I think that the concept in general of pressure in and of itself is problematic. And I think the more that I learn about the way that human beings kind of move through life, not just like understanding the concept, but I'm actually seeing it in my own life, is the brain really does work in parameters. And I think the human tendency is to do the what if game, and that what if allows for a lot of pressure. What if I don't get it done fast enough? What if this thing that I'm doing isn't aligned with this, and this? I think that the context of pressure as a construct is problematic. And I think anytime you're feeling the pressure, for me, it's kind of like a compass to know that I might not necessarily be going about this the way that I want to be going about this. Right. If I'm feeling pressure. Now, purpose, on the other end, I'm interested to hear what your thoughts are about kind of the life of purpose, because I have some thoughts myself, because I feel like I've been on a very purpose-driven journey for like the last decade plus. But tell me, what's in your space about the pressure of purpose?
Okay, so I've had purpose. I've experienced purpose because I feel like it can go in phases. So I've experienced purpose from the time I was 5 years old until around like 20, maybe 3 or 4. So I've always just knew that I was supposed to hoop. Like I was supposed to be a baller. I was supposed to play professional. I was supposed to then retire and be a bomb ass coach. And like basketball is just like what I'm called to do. Okay, so mind you, I had this at a young age. So not every kid that I'm around has it. So I'm like, I'm so dedicated to this thing and nobody else around me really has that unless they're in basketball with me and they're as good, etc. So I don't really see it from other people, or I would say normal people. So especially as young as I am. So I'm going through life and I'm like, well, like, why don't they have that? And I guess it was a judgy thing. Like, why are you letting your life just pass you by when you could be getting so much stuff done? Like, you know what I mean? Like, don't you have something to do? And I think it's because I saw a lot of people that were like doing drugs and like getting pregnant. And it was just like, why are you doing this to your life? You know what I mean? So coming from that, and then I finally realized what it's like to not have a purpose. Basketball stopped being that for me. It was like, I don't want to, that's not my thing anymore. So I went from having something to not. And when I stopped having it, I had to realize that like, okay, well, I just felt like this immediate thing, like something's wrong with me. I don't know what to do. I don't have something. What am I going to do? I don't feel successful. I don't feel complete. And it's just like, dude, calm the fuck down. Everything's okay. Like you cannot have a purpose right now. You could just let that develop. You have to have time to just sit. You know what I mean? And I haven't been out of basketball no more than probably 5 years, maybe 4. So it's not that long. So I guess it was just, for me, it's like, when are you going to just be okay? And as soon as I put this question into Trello, it's crazy because I continued to read. I went to another book, and the other book had a question of what is your purpose? So like, it was crazy because when I went to answer the question, I was like, it came to me, it popped to me. What's my purpose? And I guess my purpose right now would be to pretty much change, to have my hurt, to express my hurt to where it could change somebody else's life. So for someone to see what I go through on a day-to-day or what I've gone through, and then it resonates with them and it makes them, want to change something, or it just resonates with them where they're like, cool, it's not just me out here in these streets, you know what I mean? And I guess like that is my purpose, to connect with people on that type of level. That's what moves me. So it's interesting, but I think that the pressures that we give behind purpose, motivation, like these are the things that's gonna make us move. Nah, bruh. I don't think that that's, for me, it doesn't work for me. I work better when I let go. Let go, let have.
That makes sense. It's interesting. I think it's an interesting way to define purpose because my definition of that is very different.
Uh-huh.
For me, purpose exists like a container, right? So purpose is the container with which all of the actions that you take. So my question would be, if your purpose this whole time has been to have your experience be impactful and help another person, I see basketball as an implementation of that purpose, just a different way. Because that's somebody that's your friend. I've known the interactions that you've had and that we've talked about the time that you were in basketball, and a lot of the things that you learned felt like it was actually on purpose, just a different facet of that purpose. I feel like it's interesting that you mentioned that because I think that one of the pressures that people feel around purpose per se has to do with making your purpose something that's so incredibly specific that if you stop feeling like doing it, it takes you off track. It's kind of like the basketball conversation. I think if you make purpose something, at least for me, what's worked really well, it's my own opinion, is making purpose something that I use like a compass. It's almost like brand. Like if I'm going to say yes or no to something, the question is it on purpose? For me, I've known at a really early age that service was going to be a part of who I was, period. I've known that was something that I came to the planet with, even as a baby. You know, my very first memories have always been helping people. I think that's all human beings desire, is to figure out what's their particular way that they help people.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't necessarily think it has to be this altruistic thing where you're Mother Teresa or you're writing books or you're a motivational speaker. It's a way that you live your life, is like living on purpose. I think if I had to kind of define my purpose on the planet is to have people see their greatness in my reflection of them, one, and also to remind people that what I think is the biggest gift of being human is connections with other humans. So everything that I do in my life is a reflection of that in some way, shape, or form. That's
Mm-hmm.
every interaction, every relationship, every friendship. That's the things I do when I coach, it's things I do in the other portions of my business. Even what we're doing right here, right now, is getting an opportunity to have real conversations so that people can see themselves reflected. And my hope is that they'll take these conversations and have them in their own life. So I think for me, probably, like I said, the last 10 years has been a real journey into like making it bigger. Because at first I was like, my purpose is to help people. I'm like, well, how do we want to help people? Well, I want to help people in this way, and then in this way, and then in this way. And I stopped making it like a goal, and I started making it the container for all of the goals, the place to kind of check my actions and to hold everything else. Because I think sometimes things will come across and I know that that's not for me because it's not lined in service. Like if something comes across to me and someone's bringing me an opportunity and it's like, I think we'll make a lot of money, we can do this, my question is always, how are we serving? Mm-hmm. And that's how I know I'm on purpose, if that makes sense. Right. And what's great about it being so big, like as a container, is I don't feel any pressure because it lets me release that everything that's happening, even the shit that I don't like, is actually pointing me closer to purpose. And because everything is kind of happening in this divine timing situation, that's allowed me to release a lot of stress of being like, am I doing the right thing? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It feels to me like it's an everyday goal. And it's one of those things of like, you wake up on a Monday and you're like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing in my life. By Tuesday, you're like, oh, I realized why I had Monday. That is kind of like my 30s interactions with purpose has been like these, oh, that's why that happened. Oh, okay, I can see why that. Oh, okay. So I'm less pissed off when the shit goes down, and I'm less upset with myself for being on somebody else's pace to chasing that purpose, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I think rewiring your purpose is a very big thing, and making it more broad and figuring out how not to put so much pressure. I think that like my pressure started from a freaking child. I felt like I'm the one who's gonna make it. I gotta make it because nobody else is gonna make it. And it's like, who's to say nobody else is gonna make it? Like no one said that. You know what I mean? That's your world. That's you talking. That's you. You know what I mean? No matter, even if you can look on the outside and it doesn't look like other motherfuckers are gonna make it. it's still, you don't know what's in their journey. You don't know what's their plan on how they're going to do something. You know what I mean? So I guess it was feeling like I had to do it. I had to do it. I don't think that the pressures that you put on yourself is kind of more of how you're going to take it in, your perspective on things. I think that I put a lot of pressure on myself on having to have a purpose, on having to know and do and like be successful and or to feel motivated and not feel bad about not being motivated or not wanting to do this thing that everyone saw you do. So I guess that rewiring my perspective, changing my perspective allowed me to let it go. Like let go of the pressure, I guess. Not so much of the purpose, because when I answer the question, I had an answer this time. So I guess it's not so much of don't ever have a purpose, don't ever, you know what I mean? It's not so much of that. It's more of making sure that you have a balance. I think that I overdid the having all the pressure and having to feel like I have to know it all. And I went overboard and I just basically killed it. Like I couldn't move. I wasn't moving. So I got to a standstill because it was just too much. And I guess I found that's why now it's like releasing it helps me get an answer. It helps me move forward because I'm letting it go. So it's interesting how we're in two different places of like purpose, because yours is a little bubble, a little container, and mine's like this, let this shit go and it will come. So yeah. That's dope. I didn't think I was going to get that from this conversation.
I also think there's an interesting, it comes in waves. And I think for me, it's just about your learning. And I think that's the more thing I'm learning about more than anything else is the more that I learn about how life works, how I work, how you work, the more that I'm learning about society and just taking it as a bigger level, the more you learn that nothing is for no reason. Even pressure, if you really think about the concept of pressure, it's there for a reason. I just think we make it so much bigger than it needs to be. We turn pressure into stress. We turn pressure into this thing that's debilitating. We make it mean that we're not enough, or we're not worthy, or we're not doing it right, or we're not good enough. As opposed to maybe, at least for me, it's that let that little voice say, hey, I want you to pay attention to this. Right. Like a little pain. And then let it ride. Because I think living in a pressure state, I don't give a fuck what the pressure is for. That causes pain. And that is going to cause dis-ease.
Right, pause. I have a sticky note for that. Wait. Hold on. It's worth it. Okay. Here it is. So I have a sticky note that reminds me of what you were saying about pressure and being able to rewire it for yourself. And I have a sticky note that says experiences themselves are neutral until we start to give them meaning. And I think that pressure is not a bad guy until we put a bad guy fucking, mindset to it. We could just look at it of, okay, here it is. It's time to, really focus in this moment, et cetera, et cetera. Like, and leave it at that. You know what I mean? So, yeah, these sticky notes are golden. I'm telling you.
I can tell you that is a mantra of like one of the personal development programs that I did way years ago. That's one of the biggest mantras. And that's something that I feel like is a daily for me, is I'm always looking at what happened and what did I make it mean? And I think if you want to take a deeper cut to that Post-it even, is if you can thank the thing for what it's there to do, it passes a lot easier. It's a little tidbit. Don't say I didn't tell you. If you can thank pressure for coming and for showing what it needs to show and have gratitude towards it and let it pass and let that just be what it was, there's an easier experience of it moving in and out of your life, and it becomes a little bit more like water rather than like a brick going through a window.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you felt the brick.
I felt it. I literally saw it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I had a brick in the window life for a lot of years,
Yeah.
and I'm looking forward to more water and flow. Again, I feel like it's a practice, and it's not something that is happening all the time, but it's something that it's like a constant trying to kind of come home to. Nothing's really wrong. We're just moving through something.
Right. So just move through it. Just move through it. And try to stay as neutral as possible. Because it's going to work out. It's going to work out no matter what the outcome is. No
That's my favorite. It's the so who's, I don't know who says it, but it's my favorite saying when people bring it up, and someone brought it up this week, is everything will work out in the end. And if it's not worked out, then you know it's not the end. Always my favorite. Because it's true. Everything will work out in the end. And if it's not really working out, you're not waiting long enough. More is coming.
Right. Don't want to sit down and wait.
Yeah, absolutely. I do encourage people, though, to take the pressure off of purpose and let purpose be something. It should feel light and good in your body. And if it doesn't, you'll know that you've got pressure, or you're making it mean something, or there's something in your space. Pressure or purpose should be something that lights you up from the inside. It shouldn't live like something to do or some like loom and doom. That's how you know you got it in the wrong space, and you just got to change the perspective.
Yeah. Change your perspective is what I got from this.
Yeah.
Your perspective on things. You have to.
Living in the ghetto. I got dirt bikes. You got the ice cream man.
It sounds right. It sounds right to me. I love hearing the ice cream truck. I do. Okay. Yeah, changing your perspective, I think, is like the thing that I'm getting from this conversation. I think it's just important, no matter what you're doing, because some shit could go down. It could be bad, but like I could see how one person could take it. We could take the Rona, for example. I look at other people and it's so stressful for them, and then I'm looking at myself and I'm like, this is not stressful for me. Like, I'm taking the actual moment to figure shit out. I'm okay. I'm figuring out that a lot of things don't need to be. Like, we could take some stuff out. And I think that it's all about perspective. I have plenty of things to stress about, but I'm choosing not to. You know, it's about perspective. And so, yeah, that's what I get from this. That's all I got. Anything else you want to add?
Trying to think what I got from this as well as perspective is also just, and this is what I'm inviting the soul group, have these conversations, check in with us, let us know how does it feel in your body to talk about purpose? Yeah. And if it feels gross and it feels like pressure, I invite you to look. This is my invitation to check in. Yeah. Look at your perspective, but also check in on your purpose. Do you have one? And if you don't, is it because you really don't feel good about it? And what's in that space?
Yeah. And just so y'all know, Soul Group, there's plenty of ways that you guys can hit us up and let us know about this. You can hit us up on IG in our DMs. You can hit us up on, what else? Oh, we have a freaking Zoom. We have a Zoom situation, a Zoom party that's happening. It's just going to be the Soul Group. It's going to be private. We're going to be able to, literally like what we did on IGTV when we went live, we're going to be able to do the same thing. It's just going to be more private. We're going to have dialogue. We get to see you guys. If you guys want it, you can turn your video off. If you don't want it, girl, we understand. But yeah, it's going to be on May 8th. So definitely we're going to send you guys the link. You guys can DM us if you guys are down to be a part of it. If you guys are new, our IG handle is As Told by Queer Podcast. So definitely go and follow and share. Okay. Anything else we have?
No. Was it something from the back? Peanut gallery?
I know, right? That's somebody, I think it's knocking across the hall. But I think that's it.
That is. Goodbye, and I love you.
Peace.